Imagine this. You've walked through storms, through nights of doubt, through years of carrying more than anyone saw. You've sacrificed, you've built, you've given your best pieces away, often without thanks. And finally, you reach a place where you crave peace more than excitement, truth more than illusion. And just then, someone steps into your path, not to walk beside you, not to celebrate with you, but to pull you back into old games. It could be a friend, a sibling, a partner, a colleague. At first, their presence feels harmless, maybe even comforting. But slowly, you notice something. Your energy drains around them. Your peace fractures in ways you can't quite explain. Your mind is restless, your chest heavy, and deep down, you know, this person carries a pattern that threatens your well-being. Carl Jung taught us that every human relationship is a psychological exchange. We are not just sharing words, we are sharing energy, projections, unconscious needs. And while some connections nourish us, others drain us until we no longer recognize ourselves. Jung called this the danger of the unconscious shadow, because when people refuse to confront their own darkness, they unconsciously place it onto others. And if you are not careful, you become the container for what they will not face. This is why you must stay away from people who repeatedly do certain things. Not because you hate them, not because you wish them harm, but because your soul deserves peace. Because life is too short to carry battles that aren't yours. Because individuation, the process Jung described as becoming whole, requires boundaries. You cannot walk your true path if you are endlessly trapped in someone else's labyrinth. In this journey, we will walk through 7 patterns, 7 ways people behave, that serve as red flags. 7 signs that tell you, protect your peace. Step away. Each one may feel familiar, each one may sting, because perhaps you've allowed it before. But this awareness is not here to shame you. It is here to free you. And let me be clear, staying away does not always mean physical distance. Sometimes it means emotional clarity, the courage to say no, the wisdom to detach within, even if you must remain connected outwardly. It means recognizing the pattern, refusing to absorb it, and returning to yourself with strength. So let us begin. Stay with me as we unfold these truths. You may realize that what you thought was love was dependency, that what you thought was loyalty was exploitation, that what you thought was obligation was manipulation. And as Jung would remind us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life as fate. You've already carried too much. Now is the time to set it down. Stay away from those who drain your soul with these 7 patterns, because your life is not theirs to waste. It belongs to you. Have you ever noticed how some people never ask you directly for what they want, but instead twist your love, your loyalty, your compassion into a weapon against you? They cry at the right moment. They sigh dramatically. They remind you of everything you once did wrong. And suddenly, without knowing how it happened, you find yourself saying yes to something you never wanted to agree to. That is not love. That is manipulation. Carl Jung warned us that the unconscious mind is clever. It knows how to bend reality so we don't have to confront our own shadows. And manipulators are masters at this. Instead of facing their failures, they project them outward. Instead of carrying their responsibilities, they place them on your shoulders, wrapping the demand in guilt or pity so that you can hardly resist. At first, you may excuse it. You may tell yourself, they're having a hard time. I'm strong enough to handle it. This is what family, friendship, or love is supposed to mean. But over time, the pattern becomes clear. They do not want support. They want control. They do not want partnership. They want a lifeline. And every time you bend, they grow stronger in their game, while you grow weaker in your truth. Think of it like this. Imagine a tree growing in the wrong direction. Instead of reaching upward toward the sun, it twists itself, wrapping around another trunk, stealing its light, choking its roots. That is what manipulation does. It stunts both growths, you, drained and entangled, and them, refusing to ever grow straight on their own. Jung would call this enmeshment, a toxic merging where individuality disappears, and individuation, the sacred process of becoming yourself, requires the opposite. It requires space, boundaries, the courage to say, "This is mine and that is yours. I will not carry what belongs to you." But manipulators fear boundaries. They will tell you you're selfish. They will call you cold. They will remind you of every sacrifice they once made for you, as if your entire existence is now a debt to be repaid. They may even disguise control as love. "I'm only saying this because I care." But true love does not enslave. True care does not suffocate. The cruelest part? Manipulation often comes from those closest to us, family, partners, lifelong friends. And that is why it hurts so much to set boundaries. But ask yourself this: if love means losing yourself, is it really love? If care means silencing your needs forever, is it really care? Jung said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And that includes accepting that you deserve peace, that you have the right to walk away from those who twist your kindness into chains. Because manipulation is not a request, it is theft. It steals your time, your energy, your joy, and it leaves you feeling guilty for daring to want freedom. So stay away from those who manipulate you into carrying what is not yours. Stay away from those who twist your empathy into obligation. Because every time you let it happen, you betray yourself a little more. And if there is one betrayal you cannot afford, it is the betrayal of your own soul. Your life is not meant to be lived as someone else's puppet. Cut the strings, step back, let them face their own shadow. That is the only way they will ever grow. And it is the only way you will ever be free. Have you ever noticed how some people only appear when they need something? Days, weeks, even months of silence, and then suddenly the phone rings, the message arrives, the knock comes at the door. Not to ask how you are, not to share joy, but to take. And the cruel truth is that no matter how much you give, it is never enough. At first, you may not even notice it. A small favor here, a little help there. You tell yourself it's temporary. You tell yourself they'll remember your kindness and one day return it. But slowly, you begin to see the pattern. They never give back. They never show up for you the way you show up for them. And each time you meet their demand, another piece of your peace disappears. Carl Jung taught that energy is not limitless. Every human being carries what he called psychic energy, the fuel of our thoughts, emotions, and spirit. When that energy is stolen or misused, our entire system begins to collapse. Fatigue, irritability, resentment, even illness. Constant takers drain this energy without ever considering the cost. To them, your soul is a well that never runs dry. But you know the truth. The well is cracking. Think of it like carrying water in a bucket full of holes. No matter how many times you refill it, it leaks out before you can reach your destination. That is what it feels like to live with constant takers. Your effort never holds. Your sacrifice never satisfies. And worst of all, they make you believe it's your fault. That if you were stronger, kinder, more patient, you wouldn't feel so drained. But that is the lie that keeps you chained. Jung would remind us that what you tolerate, you unconsciously teach others to expect. If you always give without boundary, the world around you will assume you have no limits. And soon, you begin to forget that you were ever allowed to have needs of your own. But here is the turning point. Once you stop feeding the cycle, you see it for what it truly is. You realize that their endless taking was never about love or loyalty. It was about filling their emptiness at your expense. And emptiness cannot be filled by draining someone else. It only grows. So you must ask yourself, how many more times will you allow yourself to be emptied by those who never pour anything back? How many more years will you sacrifice to people who see you as a resource, not as a soul? Jung believed that individuation, becoming whole, requires withdrawing projections. In this case, it means refusing to be the vessel for someone else's lack. It means recognizing your hunger is not mine to feed. Your void is not mine to fill. And here is the paradox. When you stop giving to constant takers, two things happen. First, they may grow angry because their easy source of supply is gone. They may accuse you of changing, of being selfish. But second, and more important, you begin to feel lighter. You begin to remember what it feels like to keep your own energy, to use it for your own life, your own joy, your own growth. So stay away from people who only know how to take. Stay away from those who confuse your generosity with obligation. Stay away from those who believe your life exists only to patch the holes in theirs. Because in the end, no matter how much you give, it will never be enough for them. And if you continue, you will wake up one day realizing you gave away everything, and no one ever thought to give anything back. Protect your well, protect your energy, protect your soul, because no one else will do it for you. There are wounds that cut deeper than betrayal, and one of them is disrespect. You may not notice it at first. It can arrive in small ways, hidden behind a smile, disguised as a joke, a dismissive tone, an eye roll when you speak, a subtle interruption that tells you your words don't matter, a sigh that makes your feelings seem excessive. And slowly, these small cuts accumulate until you begin to doubt your own worth. Carl Jung said that every soul longs to be seen, to be truly recognized, not just for what we give or how we perform, but for who we are in our essence. Disrespect is the opposite of this recognition. It says, without words, you are less. You don't matter. Your truth is beneath me. And if you allow it, it seeps into your unconscious until you begin to believe the lie yourself. Have you ever left a conversation replaying it in your head thinking, why do I feel so small? Why do I feel like my voice didn't matter? That is the poison of disrespect. It doesn't just silence you in the moment. It lingers. It rewrites your self-image. And soon you begin to question if you even deserve to be heard. Think of it like walking through a house filled with smoke. At first, you cough, but you tell yourself it's fine, you'll adapt. But the longer you stay, the more your lungs weaken, the more your body accepts the toxins as normal. That is what long-term disrespect does to the soul. It normalizes mistreatment until you no longer see the damage it causes. But Jung would remind you, what you accept outwardly reflects what you believe inwardly. If you allow repeated disrespect, it may be because some part of your unconscious believes you deserve it. And here lies the opportunity. To stay away from disrespectful people is also to confront the part of yourself that has settled for less. To say, no more. I deserve more. The danger of disrespect is not only that it hurts you, it also distorts your relationships. Because once someone realizes you accept it, they rarely stop. The bar only drops lower. What was once an occasional dismissal becomes constant disregard. What was once a small wound becomes an open scar. And one day, you wake up realizing you've been living in a house built on contempt. So how do you protect yourself? First, by naming it, refusing to minimize it. Disrespect is not just how they are. It is not just a joke. It is not something you are too sensitive about. It is a violation of dignity. Second, by withdrawing your presence, not as revenge, but as self-respect. Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And who you are is not someone meant to live beneath the weight of disdain. Stay away from those who refuse to see your worth. Stay away from those who belittle your dreams, mock your passions, ignore your boundaries. Stay away from those whose presence makes you smaller instead of greater. Because life is too short, and your soul is too sacred to spend it in places where you are not respected. And here is the truth. When you finally walk away from disrespect, you will feel the difference instantly. The air will feel clearer, your voice will sound louder, your spirit will stand taller, because you will have remembered something you forgot. Your worth was never up for debate. It was always absolute. You just had to stop letting others convince you otherwise. There are people who smile at you, but behind that smile hides a shadow. They clap when you succeed, but if you look closely, their eyes tell another story. They celebrate with you on the surface, yet something in their energy feels heavy, as if your joy is a burden to them. This is envy, one of the most dangerous poisons a soul can carry. Carl Jung said that envy is the shadow's admission of its own inadequacy. When someone envies you, they are not really angry at your success. They are angry at their own unfulfilled potential, their unlived life, their choices left unattended. But instead of confronting their shadow, they project it outward, onto you. And the cruel truth is that their envy doesn't just sit quietly. It works against you in silence. Maybe you've felt it. You share good news, and instead of genuine warmth, you sense distance. You reveal a dream, and they subtly dismiss it, planting doubt. Are you sure that's a good idea? You show progress, and they change the subject, as if your growth makes them uncomfortable. These are not accidents. They are cracks in the mask of envy. The danger of envy is not only that it wounds relationships, it can seep into your own psyche. Surrounded by it long enough, you begin to shrink yourself. You downplay your wins. You silence your joy. You make yourself smaller just to keep others comfortable. But Jung would remind you, shrinking yourself does not heal their envy. It only betrays your own soul. Think of a candle in a dark room. Its flame shines brightly, but the other candles, unlit, resent its light. Do you blow out your own flame so that no one feels less? Or do you let your light burn, trusting that those willing to confront their own shadows will light their flame from yours? Envy is not healed by dimming the light. It is healed by choosing to ignite one's own, but that choice is theirs, not yours. This is why you must stay away from envious people, because their resentment can turn subtle sabotage. They may not openly harm you, but their energy works against your growth. They may whisper doubts, spread small rumors, or simply withhold support at the moment you need it most. And while they may disguise it well, your soul always knows when someone is secretly rooting for your fall. Jung believed individuation required courage, the courage to live your own life fully without apology. And envy is the opposite of that courage. It is fear wearing the mask of friendship. It is insecurity hiding beneath a false smile. And if you stay too close to it, it will slowly pull you back into the same mediocrity it feeds on. So honor your light. Celebrate your victories without guilt. Speak your dreams without shame. And stay away from those whose envy cannot celebrate you. Because your growth is sacred, and anyone who secretly hopes for your fall does not deserve to walk beside you. There are storms outside and there are storms inside. And some people carry a storm wherever they go. No matter how bright the day, they find the cloud. No matter how much you give, they point out what's missing. No matter how much progress is made, they predict disaster around the corner. At first, you may call it realism, but over time you begin to realize it is not truth they're speaking, it is poison. Carl Jung once wrote that what we resist persists, and chronic negativity is the soul's refusal to confront its own despair. Instead of facing the shadow directly, these people project it outward, covering the world in their own inner darkness. And if you stay close long enough, you begin to breathe in that darkness until your own hope feels smaller, your own joy feels guilty, your own dreams feel naive. Have you ever walked away from someone feeling inexplicably heavier, as if the air around them clung to you? That is not your imagination. Jung would say the psyche communicates through energy as much as through words. Chronic negativity is not just heard, it is felt. It seeps into your unconscious, shaping your thoughts until you no longer recognize them as foreign. Think of it like sitting beside a fire that produces only smoke. At first, you cough, but soon your eyes burn, your lungs ache, and your whole body longs for air. Yet, the one tending the fire insists, "This is just how life is." Everything burns. But the truth is, you don't have to stay in the smoke. You can step outside and breathe again. The tragedy of chronic negativity is that it resists transformation. Where most people see a challenge as a call to grow, the negative soul sees it only as proof of doom. Where others find meaning in pain, they cling to bitterness. And if you are not careful, they will teach you to do the same, to mistrust joy, to sabotage success, to fear possibility. But Jung would remind you, the unconscious is always trying to balance itself, which means if you are drawn into someone's negativity, it may be because some unhealed part of you resonates with it. This is not to blame you, but to awaken you, to say, I will not carry another person's refusal to heal. I will not let their shadow eclipse my light. So stay away from people who live in chronic negativity. Have compassion, yes. But remember, compassion does not mean sacrifice. You cannot heal someone who refuses to release their darkness. And you cannot afford to lose yourself trying. Protect your joy, your hope, your vision. Because these are not luxuries. They are the very fuel your soul needs to keep walking its true path. Stay away from those whose storm never ends. Your life is too short to live always in the rain. Few things erode the soul faster than deception. A lie may seem small at first, harmless even, but it carries a weight far greater than its words. Because what is a lie, really? It is a fracture in trust, a deliberate shadow cast over light, an invitation to doubt not only another person, but also your own perception of reality. Carl Jung wrote that the psyche thrives on truth because truth brings integration. Lies, on the other hand, divide us within. They create a split between what is said and what is felt, what is promised and what is lived. And when you are surrounded by people who live behind masks of deception, you begin to feel this fracture in your own being. You sense the dissonance, you sense the distortion, and slowly, confusion takes root. Have you ever caught someone in a lie and felt that strange dizziness, not just anger, but a loss of orientation? That is the soul's reaction to deception. It's not only about what was hidden, it's about the rupture of trust, the collapse of safety, the realization that you were living in a story that was never fully true. Deceptive people often wear their masks so well that even when the cracks appear, you doubt yourself. They insist, you're imagining things, you're too sensitive, you misunderstood, and so you silence your own intuition, even as it screams that something is wrong. This is perhaps the greatest theft of all, not the lie itself, but the way it makes you mistrust your own inner voice. Jung would call this betrayal of the self, because the moment you abandon your intuition in favor of someone else's deception, you exile a piece of your own truth, and the longer you stay, the more you lose. Think of deception like walking across a bridge built of glass. Each lie is a crack beneath your feet. At first, you keep walking, hoping the structure will hold. But eventually, the weight of so many fractures shatters everything and you fall. That is the destiny of relationships built on lies. They cannot endure. So what must you do? First, honor your intuition. When something feels false, trust that feeling. The unconscious often perceives long before the conscious mind catches up. Second, set boundaries with those who repeatedly show dishonesty. It does not matter if the lie is small. What matters is the pattern. Because deception, once tolerated, only multiplies. Stay away from those who cannot speak truth. Stay away from those whose masks are thicker than their authenticity. Stay away from those who force you to question your own clarity in order to protect their illusion. Because life is too short and your path too sacred to waste in a maze of lies. In the end, truth may be painful, but it liberates. Lies may feel easier, but they enslave. Jung would remind you, individuation requires facing reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. And so you must choose. Do you walk with those who wear masks? Or do you stay true to the raw, unpolished truth, even if it means walking away? By now you've seen the patterns: manipulation, constant taking, disrespect, envy, chronic negativity, deception. And perhaps you recognize them in people around you. Perhaps, if you are honest, you even recognize them in yourself at times. That is the sobering truth. These patterns are human. But when they become habitual, when they define someone's way of relating, they are not simply flaws, they are dangers. Carl Jung said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." This means every relationship changes you. The question is, are you being transformed into more of yourself or less? Are you being expanded or are you being diminished? Toxic bonds do not always arrive with sirens. Often they come quietly, disguised as loyalty, as tradition, as obligation. They whisper, "This is just how family is. This is just how love works. This is the price of belonging." But deep down, your soul knows better. Your body tenses, your spirit grows restless, your dreams grow dim. That is the signal, that is the warning. Staying away does not mean hate. It does not mean revenge. It means choosing peace over poison. It means saying, "I will not sacrifice my joy to keep this bond alive. I will not betray my essence for the sake of appearances. I will not stay chained when my soul was made to walk free." And here is where Jung's wisdom becomes vital. He taught that individuation, the path of becoming whole, requires separation from what is false. We cannot become who we truly are while entangled in webs that keep us small. We cannot hear the voice of the self while drowning in noise that is not ours. To individuate is to choose authenticity over approval, peace over performance, truth over comfort. Perhaps this is why your life has brought you here, to this very moment, listening. Because a part of you already knows, the people you allow into your circle shape the person you are becoming. And not everyone deserves that power. Some bonds must be broken, not because you lack love, but because you finally found love for yourself. So stay away from people who do these things, not out of fear, but out of reverence for your soul. Not because you are cold, but because you are finally warm enough within that you will no longer tolerate the chill of disrespect, deceit, or exploitation. When you choose peace, something shifts. Your spirit lifts, your body relaxes, your dreams awaken, and suddenly you realize the life you longed for was never waiting in their approval. It was waiting in your own courage to walk away. Jung would remind you that nothing is more important than this: to live your own life, to be whole, to walk in truth. And sometimes that begins with a simple act of protection, a boundary, a goodbye, a step back from those who cannot walk in love. Because in the end, your peace is priceless, and anyone who repeatedly robs you of it has already shown you who they are. Believe them, step away, and return to yourself, whole, unbroken, free.